Good morning. My name is Keith Hayden, and I started recording some thoughts. I just got a new microphone set up, so it's pretty sweet. Um, yeah, I mean, I started recording a few thoughts a couple of maybe about half an hour ago. I was just thinking, and I wasn't gonna record anything, but then I decided that I did want to record this because I'm not sure kind of what my plan is right now. Um, with this channel or with my writing or with teaching right now, everything's up in the air because of all the coronavirus stuff going on right now. So yeah, um, I don't know. I'm just kind of um, first of all, let me just start by saying right now, currently, I'm a teacher, well, a student teacher at um, a middle school, and I've been in this teaching credential program to become a math teacher. So a lot of people say crazy for teaching for doing math, but I like it. It's what I do. I like it. I'm pretty good at it. Um, so yeah, everything's on hold right now because of course the schools are out, and there's a lot of confusion with my program because this is the very end of the program, and a lot of us don't know if we're going to be able to finish this year. But I mean that's across the board. I'm sure with people across all fields. A lot of stuff has been canceled. A lot of stuff has been postponed. I mean, it's crazy. It's worldwide what's going on. So, you know, um, I've also been working at a place called Mathnasium in a town nearby. And I've really enjoyed working with the kids. I've really enjoyed watching them grow, giving them an appreciation for math. It's been pretty fun to see some of them improve. Some of them, just the same. But uh, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But obviously, that's hours have been cut there dramatically just because there's just not a lot of kids coming in with the schools closed. So um, yeah, you find yourself in this situation where the main thing I've been working on for the past, I don't know, year and a half is just kind of on pause right now. So I am doing other things to kind of, fill my time when I'm at home right now. Um, I'm studying for another math test, teacher certification test that I have yet to pass. It's the calculus test, and it's a beast. It's a tough test. So now obviously I have more time to put into, you know, shoring up my areas of weakness in calculus. So I've been doing that, and then I'm also an author. I've been writing. Uh, I actually published my first book last year. I have it right here. It's called The Tower of Babbling. Uh, it's to help people learn languages and just any language, just help you just kind of get a system, to take you from um, beginner to kind of wherever you want to go. If you want to become an advanced or professional speaker, you want to become an interpreter, that's what I used to do. I used to be a Spanish medical interpreter. Then, yeah, the book can help you out. So, I'm currently working on my first fiction book. It's a pretty big undertaking. I started last year, around the summertime. Um, I got about 60% of the way done. I had a pretty strict writing schedule that I focused on every day, and just kind of little by little. I didn't really do a lot. I was just trying to do like 500 words a day, but I did that for about 3 months straight and almost completed the entire manuscript last year. We dropped it because school picked up in the fall last year, and this year I hadn't been working on it that much because, of course, school picked up again, and I started my student teaching earlier this year. But now, obviously, with that on pause, I've gotten to get back to my writing, and I'm really excited about the story. Um, it's maybe in a future day I'll talk more about the book, but I think it's going to be an interesting story. I've never read a story like it. It kind of takes a look at a future society where it's kind of not based on capitalism. It's not based on the stuff that we know, the stuff that we've all kind of been exposed to our entire lives as far as market forces and all that stuff. But then it combines kind of a JRPG element and with hints of anime too. So I like that stuff. So I decided I wanted to combine that into a book. So I think it's gonna be pretty cool. But right now I'm not really sure. I feel like there's something that I want to do during this time because one, there's so many kids that I know that are out of school that their education's been interrupted, and as a teacher, of course, working with kids these last in several different capacities as a substitute teacher, as a tutor, as a student teacher. This last year, I know, it's not their fault, but some of these kids, I was probably the same way when I was a kid. If you didn't put it in front of me, I wasn't going to do it. So that's the way some of these kids are probably thinking. They're probably like, yay, like early summer vacation and all this stuff, which, if you're a kid, that's cool. But obviously now as a teacher, I'm like, damn, some of y'all need to hit the books, you need to be studying this stuff. So that's a concern. And two, just kind of as a, I always consider myself like, or I want to be just a global citizen, like just somebody who's not just about where I'm from or, obviously I live in the States. Well, maybe it's not obvious, but yeah, I live in the States. And, I was born and raised in the U.S., but I've traveled a lot throughout my life all over the world. And I don't know, there's something just on my heart to give back, like during this time when, we're seeing a lot of deaths from this thing, and there will probably be more as it progresses in the next few months. I know here in the U.S. we're still in the very early phases of testing and identifying people, and the numbers seem to be rolling in at a trickle. But if you look at the math, of course I'm a math teacher, so if you look at the math and you look at the models and stuff like that, a lot of the stuff's out there. There's gonna be some hard times to come potentially. And yeah, you never know when you're going to be touched by it. I haven't been personally yet, but I mean, my wife and I have talked about it. We know like there's potential for massive loss of life, and this is just kind of the way things go sometimes. This is kind of whether it's the Chinese or nature, I don't know, but it's just one of those things that a lot of us are being affected by around the globe, and just kind of as a concerned citizen, if you will, of the planet Earth. I don't know. I just feel like, I want to do something that's helpful, that's something that, that I can do, and yeah, I have my book and stuff, and yeah, it would be nice if I got more sales in my book, but it's not really about that for me. It's like more about what can I do? Like, what can I contribute to this at this time when there's a lot of people that are scared, a lot of people staying at home, with their kids. I don't know. And I feel like this is something that I could potentially contribute to. So I thought about it this morning when I got up, and I was like, what can I do, and my biggest strengths are probably processes, math, writing, reading. I love to read. So I haven't decided, I've done the YouTube thing, and frankly, I like recording videos, but I hate editing videos. I hate uploading the things. Like, it's a real pain to me. I don't really like it. I don't mind doing videos like this. They're easy and quick, but when it comes to the whole back end process, I just really, I can't stand it. And I know it's a necessary evil. If you plan to post stuff online, you want people to see it and watch it, but man, I hate it. And I don't like going on social media either, especially nowadays when, during times like this, it just seems like people divide themselves into camps, this is conspiracy theory, or, this is this is BS or whatever. It's like you can't find any. It's hard to find any level-headedness, and it's just a huge distraction to me. I can't stand it. So, um, especially on Twitter, and I'm not really on Instagram, and I haven't. I'm slow on Facebook nowadays, but mainly my main ones are YouTube and Twitter, and those are both. There's good content on there, but then of course there's bad content too, where it's just people spreading fear and people spreading misinformation, and just I'm not gonna have it, especially as a teacher. I just can't stand that stuff. So I guess what I'm saying is what I thought of doing just to kind of give back or anything or something is just kind of reading my book. And I know you're saying like, oh, you said you didn't care about the book, whatever. But I mean, it's like, that's all I've got right now. Like teaching and stuff. I could do math teaching and stuff, but I'm not sure about the level. And I'm thinking of the kids that I, obviously was in contact with at my school where I was placed and at Mathnasium, like because I'm not really I'm not really employed of the school district. I'm not really plugged into them, so it's hard for me to directly do a class for them. And also I just don't have the tools, whatever, to do it in the way that I would want to do it. So the book is right here. Yeah, just in this time, people are doing things. I've seen people in my neighborhood, getting out playing catch with their kids. My wife and I went for a walk last night. Just people out in the park, people getting out, and people are kind of taking stock, like taking a step back. Maybe they're undertaking that project or reading that book or writing that book like I am that they always wanted to do and they never had time to do when obviously it's ops normal and you're just going to work and, going throughout your daily routine. So I feel like that's why I wrote the book. Obviously I love learning languages. I love foreign languages. I love traveling. So if that's something that's on your mind, like you wanted to learn a language and you never had the time, but obviously now you have the time, then maybe what I'm going to post is for you. Maybe it's not. I'm not sure. But I also have thought about turning this into possibly podcast episodes because I really enjoy podcasts. I listen to a ton of podcasts. And I think they're a fantastic source of information. I think they're kind of the evolution of the old radio stations, of course, which are still around, but I mean, they're just not as popular as they used to be just because of competing media formats. But yeah, so I think that's going to be what I do. I don't know how often. This is the problem with this stuff with me in the past. I've done vlogging on YouTube. I've done blogging I still blog on Medium, and I have my own blog for my writing website. But, I'm going to be honest, it's hard to keep up with all that stuff. If you're a writer, you probably feel my pain. If you're a content creator, you feel my pain because, it's hard to create content, consume content, put your own stuff up, look at other people's stuff, comment on their stuff. It's like a whole, once you start posting stuff, it's a whole ecosystem that you're kind of shoved into because you're just a part of it. Like I post this video, people comment on it, then I look at their stuff, and then they're like, oh, check out my stuff, and there's some of their stuff's good, some of it's not good. It's a whole thing that you kind of have to make space for in your life, and we have space now, but I'm thinking like I would actually, if I like starting things. I'm trying to get better about not starting things and then not following through with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm sure that happens to a lot of us nowadays because it's so easy to just reach out, go to a website, sign up, and then drop it a week later. And I'm no exception to that. I know. I can be pretty disciplined about certain things, but I have a hard time with that, and I'm really trying to focus on finishing my book and studying for this test. Hopefully it doesn't get canceled. Still could get canceled within the next month. But yeah. So I'm not gonna say I'm a post once a week. I'm a post twice a week. Like I don't know. Like this is just something that kind of I feel like um, people would benefit from. I feel like obviously there's tons of stuff out there. There's literally millions of channels, millions of content hours on YouTube. Like it's just infinite. It feels infinite. Like there's infinite ways to spend your time nowadays. But um, I don't know. Maybe mine is another drop in the sea of all that content. But uh, it's cool. Like I I'm doing this for people out there like you, people watching this, but I'm also doing this or listening to this if I turned it to a podcast. But I'm also doing it for me too because I don't know. I feel like I want to do something, like just sit in my house and just wait for the coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it feels like. Especially now. This is March 20th, so just last night here in California, they issued, lockdown, and that's something. I used to be in the military, so those are kind of words that I associate with, just a military environment of, you are restricted, you cannot leave, you cannot go, and if you do go, there are going to be consequences. And I think a lot of people are taking it that way. And of course, I'm used to hearing that, being a veteran myself, and but a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are really frustrated about what I have to stay in my house. I can't leave. Essential, what is an essential business? Like my business is important to me. It feels essential, but now I'm labeled non-essential because I don't do X, Y, Z. But it's essential to me to keep the lights on. To keep food on the table. So a lot of people are pissed off about that. That is frustrating. To be labeled as non-essential, it says something about the work that you do and the effort that you put into your craft, and that's hard to take. So with all that, of course, a lot of people are frustrated, and it just feels like the solution is just to do the classic and just I take care of mine and mine alone, and everybody else be damned, and I'll buy up all the toilet paper and I'll just sit in my house and watch Netflix for the next 2 weeks until until whenever, until this thing lifts. That's not what I want to do. I don't. I just don't like that mentality, and I want to be about it. I've always been that way. If there's something going on, and more these last few years, I've been more active on social media. I've been more like just willing to put my voice out there and put my opinion out there. Because when I was younger, I was very much a go with the flow type of guy. Like I never wanted to make waves. I didn't want to seem like I was on more on one side or the other. I just tried to go straight and narrow in a lot of things, and that's fine. Like that was cool for me when I was younger. But now that I'm a little bit older, I'm like, there's a lot of just, frankly, just garbage out there. There's a lot of people that and things and entities that thrive on destabilization and just fear mongering and things like that. And I want to be a counterbalance to that. I don't want to be a part to that. And I guess everything's subjective. So obviously, some people could see, oh, now you're just adding more stuff or whatever. But I don't know. This is, like I said, this is partially for me too. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is something that I feel like I need to do to um, to be right with myself. It is a personal type of thing, but I want other people to possibly be able to benefit from the things that I have and my ideas and my books and whatever. So, all right, I've been going on for 20 minutes, so I'm gonna wrap up a little bit. But okay, so here's what's my plan is right now. I'm going to read my book. I don't know if I'm gonna read by chapters. I don't know. I'm gonna try and keep it. I'm thinking like podcast length, so no more than 30 minutes per per session. I'm looking into live streaming. I've never live streamed before. This is not a live stream, but I'm looking into it because I know like that's just kind of what a lot of people do right now. It's just live streaming, and so I'm looking into that. So I'll read that, and then as I read the book, I think it'll be a good opportunity too, because I'm the author, then I'll be able to actually give insights about why I chose certain things, why I wrote it, not just reading it. Just okay, it's not like a fiction book. It just kind of personal anecdotes of my over decade and a half of experience learning language in classrooms, in immersion environments, on my own. I just have, I'm not gonna lie, I just have a lot of experience across multiple languages. So I'll do that, and like I said, I'm not sure. There could be a podcast version. I'm kind of doing this as if I'm wondering how my voice is going to sound. I'm so used to seeing my face that I'm wondering how my voice is going to sound. Just the voice, no video. I think it'll sound pretty good. But yeah, I think that's going to be the start. Like there's no hard schedule or anything like that, but just something, because I feel like that cloud of, especially with the lockdown yesterday, I feel like that cloud of, that grip of helplessness is something that I used to feel sometimes, just kind of in the air, when I was in the military, when I was a cadet at the Air Force Academy. When things like this would happen, they're like, yo, you can't leave, you have to stay and you have to do this. And it's just a feeling that everybody's just frustrated, like, man, we can't leave. What is this? Especially if it was some circumstance where it was kind of a punishment type of deal. This obviously isn't really a punishment, but it can feel like a punishment, right? Just because you stop working. I know my wife and I got mortgages, we got car notes, we got lights to pay, like PG&E gonna wait for your cell phone. Verizon ain't gonna wait for your job to start up again. They're just gonna keep collecting money. So that doesn't stop. So it can feel like a punishment. I urge you, don't take it that way. There are opportunities here. Like I said, I'm spending more time with my wife. I'm writing. I'm reading. I just finished a book, an elementary reader in Chinese last night. So there's just time to do those things. Maybe it's stuff around the house. Maybe it's spending time with elderly loved ones or whatever, or just friends, or kicking back because you were on a tear with your professional life and you need space. Try and find that time to see it that way. And I don't know, like we're gonna get through this, and this is gonna pass eventually. We just don't know when or in what manner it's going to pass or how it's going to affect us along the way right now. Because I'm not going to lie, I was one of the early on, about a month ago, where I was like, what is this? Like people making a big deal out of this, media hype and all this stuff. And, I didn't really take it seriously, and nobody really was around me. Everybody was just, kids were going to school. We were going out. Yeah, it wasn't really a big deal. And then, bam, 2 weeks later, it's night and day. Streets are empty. A lot of businesses are shuttered. I just like that word, shuttered. A lot of things are shuttered. A lot of things are closed down. And it does feel like a different world than it was just a week ago. We were still in school. So this is only the first week. And it's looking like it's going to be a while. So I'm going to sign this off because I know it's getting lengthy. But I don't know. If you have comments, I don't know what you would comment at this point because it's really... I guess I said a lot, but I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, I'm very hopeful. I want to be a help, not a hindrance in this. And I just feel like I want to do something. And I would encourage you, like whatever you do, whether it's art or you write or you make music or whatever, you got to still do that thing. Don't just sit in your house and be scared and wait and I don't know, and just watch the news because that happens all to all of us. Like you go on any media outlet, online, traditional news, you cannot escape this thing, and it just feels so. Especially if you're like me, which a lot of people are, you're not working or you're not going to school or you're not doing what you would normally do. You're just at home and you go on your social media, whatever, Instagram, TikTok, probably if you're one of the students I taught, um, and it's all you hear is content, things related to coronavirus, COVID-19, coronavirus, and then it just starts to, I felt kind of down in the dumps a while, a couple of days ago, because it just starts to starts playing on loop, like you start getting, oh, coronavirus, I gotta get out, I gotta get the toilet paper, I gotta go eat food, I gotta get out before I get locked down, you just start playing this scenario in your mind, and it really does drive you crazy. It really can, and so, I found myself less and less, like, turning it on, this morning I got up, and usually the first thing I flick on is the news, just to see, what's going on. And I was like, you know what? Forget that. I just put on some music and chilled. I ate my breakfast. I said goodbye to my wife, and I came up here. So I don't know. It's hard because I know how hard it is to do that because especially when it's just at your fingertips. Just press your Facebook app or your social media app, and then it comes up, and there it is, front and center, what to do. You're probably getting emails left and right from I know I've gotten them from every business, from every entity. Oh, we care about you, coronavirus. Oh, like, okay, whether they really care or not is, you and I both know, they care about, that. They want the money, and they're sad that you're not going to be able to frequent them or whatever. They don't want you to quit them during this thing. So that's a huge motivator for that. But it's just everywhere, and it just, I don't know. I don't know. It's just the times we're in, and I remind myself, I just read Noah Yuval Harari's Sapiens. I just finished that book a couple weeks ago, and, it really put things in perspective for me as far as humanity and things like that before this thing blew up worldwide. It's just that, these types of things have happened in the past. They will continue to happen in the future. Um, it's not, it's abnormal because we haven't seen it in a long time. We haven't seen it on this scale. We haven't seen it in kind of our time. Like this type of a very highly contagious, potentially deadly disease like this on a global scale. We haven't seen it in a long time, but it's happened throughout human history, and a lot of people died, and they weren't in as good of a position to prevent it or mitigate it as we are, because obviously we can send messages with the quickness and say, hey, don't go here, stay inside. They couldn't do that back in 100 years ago during the Spanish flu. You just saw people that got it, and you're like, okay, don't go over there, and take care of people who are dying. That's all you could do. So obviously we're in a better position to take care of these things nowadays, but at the same time they still happen. We're still human. We're very, not much has changed in 100 years as far as our underlying biology, so we're still susceptible to these things. And even though obviously I'm on the younger end, I know that I could get it. Not to say I would probably die, but I could. There's a chance. It's math. It's probability. 1% right now, that could change. So, not to be, somber or anything, but that's just the truth. I just, maybe it's just because, maybe because I'm a math guy. I notice a coldness among math teachers. We always have to talk like this because it's numbers and stuff. But it is true. Like, there's always a chance. So, all the more reason to do what you can today to stay healthy, to I don't know, just continue not just to follow the guidance and the lockdown and all that stuff, but to do the things that you do, in as best the capacity you can. So I'm gonna sign off. This has been about 30 minutes exact right time. There will probably be more to come, but yeah, stay safe. 贵人 say 再见. Yeah, talk to you soon.